Hello, everyone. Welcome to TV Literate, the podcast that unapologetically enjoys trashy TV. I'm Gillian.
And I'm Megan.
And it's the end of November, guys.
It is. Tomorrow is December 1st. That is crazy.
I guess when everyone hears this, it'll be December.
It will be December, yeah.
The last month of the year.
I'm ready for this year to be over, but I honestly don't know. I don't have high hopes for next year either, so we'll see.
Time really doesn't have any meaning anymore, so I don't really
That's
care.
true.
It's all kind of the same. I would like the sun to be up a little later, but I'm glad it's not hot.
Yes, all good points. All good points.
That's all I've got right now. That's all I've got for today.
That's totally fair. So what have you been watching lately, Gillian? How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was good. It was just me and Chris at home. We video chatted my parents.
Honestly, that sounds
cute.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Chris made a whole big thing, so we have lots of leftovers too, which is really the only part I missed about not doing big Thanksgiving previously to now.
Yeah, it's like all the crazy amounts of food you have in your fridge afterwards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. Last night I ate a dinner roll from the bag, with cranberry sauce on it.
Hell yeah.
It was so good.
Hell yeah. I'm so happy for
my late night snack. But other than food, Thanksgiving was good, and I really haven't watched much of anything. We've been watching shitty Christmas movies because 'tis the season.
Sure.
So we watched Love Hard on Netflix, which was so cringe. It physically hurt at some points. We also watched we watched one last night. A Castle for Christmas.
Oh,
which is
gosh.
Brooke Shields falling in love with Carrie Elwes.
Oh, my
the
gosh.
Princess Bride.
Yes, hell yes. That's hilarious.
Was horrible, but really good Scottish Highlands. So.
Oh God, I'll have to tell Kyler about that. He's all about Scottish Highlands right now.
Yeah, Castle for Christmas, man. Castle for Christmas. Dunbar. Go Castle Dunbar. Where William Wallace laid the stones, and I'm like, William Wallace was not a carpenter.
Dang.
He was in jail for a long time too. Anyways, that's all we've been watching. What have you been watching?
Yeah, I feel like I am off. I don't know. This last week's been weird. I don't know. The weeks that are holidays, they always just don't seem real. And I was out of town. I went to Cincinnati to see my parents, so I haven't really watched a ton. I've mostly been watching random investigative discovery specials and stuff like that. Nothing in a series, just kind of one-offs, because I just need a little bit of something, but I don't want to get too invested into anything right now. But there are several things that have just come out that I'm excited about. So I'm hopeful that next week I will have some good stuff to talk about.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you should. Stuff gets good in December and January because they're going for all the, what's the TV ones, the Grammys and the Oscars and whatever, Emmys. Yeah. Those are all soonish, so all the good stuff starts coming out to get us through the winter.
True. Yeah. So hopefully next week I'll have something interesting to talk about and not be I haven't been watching much, because I feel like that's been me for the past 2 months. But yeah.
Well, you did go through, you've gone through 14 seasons of Survivor.
True. That is true.
So
yeah,
that's a lot.
That's
many
lot.
Episodes.
It is.
That's 150 episodes or something.
What? That's not a lot, Gillian. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, as someone who has rewatched multiple Star Trek
those are fucking long as hell.
I know, 25 episode seasons for 8 seasons.
Yeah.
You got a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
You never run out. It's always good.
Yeah. I think Kyler would agree with you on that one.
Hell yeah.
Before we get into the meat of what we're going to talk about today, do want to have a note that the day that we're recording is the first day of the Josh Duggar trial. And I wanted to say we are keeping up with that, and that we will eventually have an episode about that. And we're going to do a complete episode about that. So people who do not want to hear about it do not have to listen to it at all. So don't worry about us just bringing it up willy-nilly randomly. Yeah. But we will have an episode at some point about that all, just so you guys know.
Yes. I don't know. It's the first day. It seems crazy already.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah. But we'll address that at a different point. But yes, gross. But for today, we are going to be finishing up season 3 of Welcome to Plathville. And
Hell yeah.
boy, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh my god.
There
I know.
always
Okay,
is
so
with
like
these people.
we only did 3 episodes, but the last episode was an hour and a half long,
And
which
it was
is insane.
meaty. It was like full of stuff.
It was so full.
Yeah.
It was so good. I mean, it was bad, but it was good.
There's lots to talk about. But the first episode we're going to discuss is episode 10, Want to Get a Room?
No.
No. So this episode kind of picks right back off where the last episode left off at Mariah's first show, where Kim and some of the kids have crashed the concert after being asked specifically, not for Kim, not to come. And yeah. So Ethan and Micah are just kind of like stalking around the parking lot looking for Kim.
And Kim, of course, is sitting there like, I can't believe that they're looking for me. It's ridiculous that I can't be here. And it's like, it's not. You were literally just like not on the list.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that you came and are like hiding out like this. Like this is, you're acting like a child.
Yeah, like because you can't respect somebody else's feelings.
Yeah.
And wouldn't accept. Like, I get it that it's like, that's your daughter, but also you fucked it up yourself.
You did fuck up yourself, and they did give her the option of Lydia can come and film it, and you can watch it that way. And like that's you fucked up, and this is what you're gonna get. Like that's more than enough, I think. And
yeah, you're not a victim. It is just the consequences of your own actions.
Exactly. I loved how there was one part where it was like a talking head and Kim talks about how she hates how stubborn Ethan is. And then the producer's like, I wonder where he could have gotten that from. And she kind of laughs. And then she like, you could tell she like never thought of that. Like, she's like, I'm stubborn? Me? No.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not stubborn. I'm meek and not the headship or whatever the fuck you're supposed to be. I'm the meat cute. It's like, I don't know all those stupid words.
You are the most stubborn person on the planet.
Yeah. Okay, so then Ethan and Micah found them.
Right.
In the front of the parking lot in the other van. And it was bad, but not as bad as it could have been. I think Ethan almost punched Kim, but didn't.
Yes. Well, the thing is that Kim like refused to get out of the car because Ethan was like, get out of the car and let's have like a talk, like away from the rest of the kids. Let's talk about this. And she refused to get out and instead sent poor Isaac out to do her fighting for her. And
so fucked up.
And of course, like Ethan's not going to yell at Isaac. It's not his fault. Ethan probably feels awful for Isaac because he knows what position he's in. And it's just so manipulative and awful to both Ethan and
using your kids
Isaac
as literal like bullet shields from having to deal with the consequences of your own actions.
So fucked up.
It's so fucked up, and I hate it, and I hate Kim, and this made me lose so much hope for Lydia and Isaac, but maybe they'll get free. But right now, like with this, Lydia's like, it's a public event at a public place, and it's like, yeah, that your daughter told you specifically not to come to.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's hard to be like angry at them because they are children that have like grown up in this horribly manipulative environment, but I was a little frustrated at like how Lydia was like acting like everyone else was being ridiculous, and it's like your mom is the one that's being ridiculous, and it's like kind of crazy that it's, I mean, I understand that they don't see it, but like to everyone else it is very obvious.
The kids are still like so much under her thumb that they can't, I mean, it would completely ruin their like universe to
all they've
accept
known.
The fact that, oh fuck, my mom isn't looking out for me, it doesn't want the best for me, is acting out of somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like, shit. That'll fuck you up.
Indeed.
Oh god. Okay, so the other part about this, the only thing that I had left to say about this little section part was Ethan, I don't remember if this was a talking head or not, but he just quietly goes, oh, I'm such a sneaky lady about Kim. And I was just like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do, is be like, eh.
Then we kind of like in talking heads talk about like the crux of the problem with Olivia, and how Olivia has talked about how like these people have literally told me that I have evil spirits inside me, and like it's not okay to be like that. And so then they kind of try to address this, and Kim talks about how they think that all hatred is rooted in the devil, and so the fact that Olivia was having issues with them meant that she was like rooted in
of
the devil.
Which
And
is
it's
like, Kim and Barry, look in a fucking mirror.
Exactly, but also like, okay, that's fucked up. And they go on about how it wasn't their intent and whatever. But then Barry kind of was like, yeah, I didn't realize that she like felt that bad about that. Like, first of all, fuck you.
Right? Like, your new family is like, hey, you're evil. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. And then he says he feels bad about that. That feels bad that she had been like ruminating on it. And I'm like, do you though? I don't know.
I know. God, the worst part about these 3 episodes is I actually kind of started to like Barry.
It was so annoying. I'm like, please don't give me a Barry redemption arc. I cannot
It's
handle
like maybe Barry was just like an unsocialized idiot who found Kim, who was a crazy person. Like, in many ways. I don't know, because he's such a skis ball.
Yeah, and it's like, you allowed his children to be raised how they were, and he allowed Kim to do whatever. You know, and it's like, even if he wasn't as evil as Kim, like, he's still not.
He's complicit, obviously.
Exactly.
But like, man, I'd hate having to agree with that smug ass face.
I know, you're right. That was the absolute worst part of these episodes.
I know, when it's like, oh, I didn't realize that she felt that bad, and it's like, oh, if that's true.
But also, like,
it can't be true. You have to fucking know.
Yeah, and like, obviously she feels bad about it because she has to make these boundaries and stuff. Like, obviously you fucking, like, why don't you take a second and step back and think, what have we done or said that might have made her feel this way? Maybe she has like a legitimate reason to feel this way, and it's not just like, oh, she hates me because she's part of the devil.
Yeah, like
like, think for 1 second.
Yeah, just take a look around.
Not that hard to tell.
No, and I think if they had asked her what she was mad about those first like 3 years, she would have told them.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Maybe not clearly like she can now, but she would have been like, you said some things that really hurt my feelings at the beginning of this.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Who'd have fucking thunk it?
I know, right?
I don't know. Either Barry's super evil because he's just pretending to be innocent.
Yes.
Or he's less evil because he just really doesn't think about people outside of himself.
Right, which is like evil, but less evil than intentionally being like awful. So
yeah, like, is he a narcissist or evil?
Lots of layers to unravel.
He's an onion.
He is, exactly. So then back at the concert, Ethan gets up and introduces the band and they get started. They're definitely a little like rattled because they know that Kim's there, particularly Olivia. But they get on, they do their thing.
Yeah. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't perform in front of 15 people.
Yeah. At least they remembered the words, unlike Lawson Bates.
Lawson,
so
who's trying to make it like a big old career.
Right.
I forgot my own lyrics.
Yeah, this is how like back in the car, Lydia and Kim are all like, why can't we just be normal? Why can't we just show up and be normal? And it's like, because you made decisions to like because you are a bad person. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's like the reason, I mean, like, Lydia probably doesn't understand the reason why they can't be there, because Kim's just like, she's just blowing it out of proportion. It's nothing. I just said one thing one time.
Yeah, no, Lydia probably has no idea the things that Olivia has gone through at all.
Oh, yeah. No, if she did, I think Lydia would I think at this point, Lydia would cut a bitch. I think Lydia in these couple episodes really showed that she has kind of started, like, she's still really in line, but she's much more her own person.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So Ethan does drop this little bomb that I had never fucking heard before about Mariah and her concert in this part, where he says that a few years prior, Kim wouldn't let Mariah use a couple of $100 from her, like, Christmas money from her grandparents to record an album of secular music. And, like, we know her songs. She's not singing, like, fuck, fuck, kill, kill, murder all the kittens.
Yeah, they're like little singing love songs.
Yeah, cute little teeny bop girl songs. Like, they're sweet.
Nothing harmful about them at all.
No, and I highly doubt that she was like, Mom, I want to make an album all about the word fuck.
Yeah, I do. That sounds fun.
I know, it would just be me yelling fuck.
I mean, fuck is one of the best words in the English language, satisfying. So it is. But yeah, that's what he was talking about. Like, it's really frustrating to him that Kim is making this about, oh, I want to be there for Mariah's first show and I want to support her, when like literally she's never once been supportive of Mariah's music career in the past.
Yeah, she's been like actively stopping the career.
And it's like she only wants to do this because she's not supposed to do it, and like she wants to pretend like she's a supportive mother now, and that's just like not gonna fly.
No one's gonna believe you, Kim.
No. Yeah, no.
I don't know. It was a lot.
It was. And Ethan also says that he did want to point out that he did notice that his dad did not come, that Barry did not come, and that it actually meant a lot to him, that Barry respected the boundaries, even if Kim didn't.
It was like the last episode 9, where Barry was like, I don't think you should go. They told us they don't want us there. And that's the part where I'm like, fuck, maybe Barry is just like really dense and has never considered the feelings or thoughts of another person. Like,
I don't know.
Now that he's really having to do it, because I feel like they've never really had to like face the level of consequence of their children kind of rebelling as now that they're on national TV.
Oh yeah,
getting a lot of pressure.
Well, and then
so like
and then I also wonder if like this television show in one way has given Barry some clarity in like how he's raised his children and how it's not exactly what he should have done, and so now he's kind of thinking about things from another perspective, maybe.
Well, and it's entirely possible that TLC just hooked all of them up with a psychologist, and
God, I hope so.
You know, barely touching that fucking hell river of Barry's control issues.
There's so much. There's so much there.
So much, man. But I don't know. Concert was good. Mariah was stressed, but seems to feel like it went well.
Yeah, definitely. She definitely says though, like it would have been better if the stress of the mom situation was not there. Like it would have been, I would have had more to devote to the show. I wouldn't have been as distracted. It would have been a lot better. And like, yep, true. If your mom would have just respected your wishes, maybe.
Yep. And then like for a normal mom to show up, it would be like, oh, you know, that's supportive and nice. But when Kim shows up, she's there to like
to call
judge
shit.
You and know.
Yeah, and to just be, and like she likes to do shit that she's told like she can't do. Like she's that type of person.
Yep, she's like full contrarian. Hell be whatever things you ruin while you're doing it.
Exactly.
That was a very good sentence.
I totally understood what you meant though. So that's all.
To hell be whatever.
To hell be whatever.
Put that on a t-shirt.
So this next part, after the show, Olivia and Ethan go to a bar and to have some drinks to drown their anxieties after the show. And then they sit down and have a good talk together.
It was really good.
It was,
Ethan said that he knew Kim was going to show up and cause shit, because we all know?
Yeah, we all knew.
Olivia feels frustrated that she can set all the boundaries she wants, but there's no, like, punishment or consequence or anything that she can enact to hold them accountable.
She can't force them to be accountable, which is a good point. Yeah, and that's very frustrating. And then she kind of talks about how because of this and other reasons, she's really decided that like Tallahassee is not far enough from the situation, and that they need to move farther, which I think has been clear to all of us that was probably true, but I'm glad that she's finally like admitted that to herself and being honest about it.
I think it just took Ethan getting over his like digging his heels in about moving for her to actually be able to be honest with herself and him. Because like Tallahassee was better than nowhere. Yeah, Tallahassee was better than Cairo.
Cairo, don't say Cairo. It's Cairo,
not Cairo. Yeah, I mean I don't want to insult real Cairo because it's way better than Cairo, Georgia.
Yeah, I would hope so. But yeah, Ethan talks about that while he was on his little getaway trip, when he was having his moment, he went to the West Coast, and while he was there, he was like, why do I live in such a boring, ugly place when there are places like this in the world? And so that really opened up his mind into like moving over to the West Coast or somewhere else, or even like living in multiple places to experience all kinds of different things.
Yeah, he kind of throws out the idea that for the next 4-ish years before they have kids and everything, and they can just, you know, be together and be married, that he wants to live like a year in each city and figure out where they want to live. And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Olivia gets emotional and talks about how it's like Ethan's been really checked out, and it was like him checking in. It was like a ray of sunlight on a cloudy day, and it was really sweet to see that they were finally like connecting and that they really seemed to be on the same page.
Yeah. I think Ethan has let go of a lot of his rage.
Yeah.
After his trip,
definitely,
and so I think that's good. That's a good place to start because their problems aren't insurmountable. He just needed to be able to get through his feelings about his parents.
For sure. Yeah. And then this is where the title of the show comes in. They say want to get a room, and they get a hotel room for the night.
Ooh. Which is very saucy because they still aren't living together. So
I know. This is like living in sin, kind of, even though they're married. But
yeah, making it a little spicy.
So then we go over to the Plath house, and we talk about Isaac, who is learning to shave because he's 15. And this part pissed me off so much. I just they talk about how they were very proud of Isaac for how he handled the situation at the concert, and that he was really able to like get out and, I don't know, like
be a strong man for the family or something. Like, it was fucked up. Like,
it was
defending his mom.
Right. And then she goes on and talks about how like Isaac really looks up to Ethan, and it would have been so easy for him to side with Ethan. But it's like, no, it would not have, because he literally lives in your house. He's influenced by you.
You would have made his life hell.
Yeah. And it's just like, that is not true. He had no choice but to stand up for you. And that is the bottom line. And it's fucked up.
Well, and the whole other part of this section, because that's fucked up. But then this whole rest of this part of the section is Barry trying to teach Isaac how to shave. Isaac's 15. Isaac's been shaving for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. Like, it was weird.
You are so checked out of your own children that you don't even know, like, which of your sons are shaving.
He only has, like, what, 3? There's only 3 boys. It's not even that hard.
There's only 3 boys.
And 2 of them
he
are
didn't
out.
do it with Ethan or Micah. And it's like, yeah, where do you think your shaving cream's going, bud? Or why are you buying the 2-pack?
Just clueless. Just completely clueless.
Yeah, Isaac just saying to the camera where he's like, my dad thought it was my first time shaving, but I've been doing it for a long time. I'm just like, yep, that is 100% the Plath parents.
Yep, sounds right to me. Poor Isaac had to just figure it out himself.
Well, hopefully Micah or Ethan helped him.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, oh God. So then we get a little cute part. Max is taking Mariah to the lake where they famously broke up. And he's going to give her the promise ring. He wants to like come full circle with the ring and everything. And it was like a whole thing.
I know. But for me, please don't take me back to the place that you broke up with me to like give me a long speech that you're nervous about that you don't get through quickly.
Well, yeah.
I would be so anxious. I would just be sitting there the whole time like, are you going to break up with me? Are you going to kill me and put me in the lake? What?
Oh, I did notice that was the first thing she asked when they got there. She was like, are you going to break up with me? And he immediately said no. So at least he was like, took that off the table right at the beginning. But yeah, that would be anxiety inducing for sure.
What a punk. I mean, fine. You're trying to make it better, but maybe just make him another place special.
Yeah, maybe. But he brings her favorite sushi, and it's sweet. He gives her the pinky promise to symbolize all the pinky promises that they've made as a couple in the beginning of their relationship, and she's like full on sobbing. So. Oh yeah,
she's like in tears, and it's very sweet. But I do have to say that ring was ugly.
It was, but I mean.
It's a cute.
It had a lot of thought. It did. It was a Jasper,
very nice.
Jasper Stone, which is her middle name. So I mean, he did think, and
I'm a critic.
But I know. But all that's like most men are gonna get jewelry that is like ugly. At least this one had thought into it.
Yeah, he didn't just get the like $25 ring from the Walmart display case or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, very good on Max. I think he's a very cute and good person. But I think both of them have dreadful taste.
Well, that's that's okay. Yeah, but
that's all I've got to say.
But she was so happy, and she talked about how she's not felt wanted or that she belongs anywhere, and so finally she feels like she belongs with Max, which was really sweet. And it's really sad, but like it makes sense. She's always been like the black sheep of the family, and so I'm glad she's finally found found someone that like, I was just gonna say, I'm glad she's finally found someone that is treating her as like a special person that like they want to be around, because she is.
Yeah. Like, it must be such a mindfuck to come from a family who very clearly does not approve of you or your choices or your habits or your tastes or your style or whatever. And then to like have this dude be like, here, I like you and I choose you and I want to continue to be with you. Like, that's got to be like some fucking,
yeah, definitely,
I don't know, good brain juice.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that feels good to me as somebody who's never felt abandoned or anything like that, anything close to that.
Exactly.
So yeah, for sure.
Oh, poor Mariah.
I know.
I just hope she does well.
Same. I know.
This whole time, the whole show, I'm just like, I just hope they're okay in the end.
I know. I just like have, and it's like I have so much hope for the adult Plaths because they're such like smart, like emotionally intelligent, good people. They seem like, and if anyone can make it, I feel like people like them can. So
yeah. I hope so.
Very different from the Duggars.
Very different from the Duggars. I know. The only person you can like half root for in the Duggars is like Ginger and Jill, but they just married terribly.
Yeah. Even then, it's like, okay, but it's sad when it's like, oh my god, these kids are allowed to go out and go to public school, and that's like really a huge relief.
Fuck. Right? The bar is on the floor.
For real. Okay, so Lydia is cleaning the rental properties that the Plath family own between guests, and today she's working on the farmhouse. And she talks about how the benefit of cleaning these properties is that she gets to use her mom's phone, and while she's using her mom's phone, she's been talking to this boy that she's not supposed to be talking to.
Yep. I don't know. It's very cute. Like, I hate that all of this, like, cute, normal 17-year-old stuff, like going and texting a boy while you're doing your first job, is just, like, fucking ruined by Kim and Barry all the time.
It's not, like, 17-year-old girls should be allowed to text
a boy.
And I mean, I understand, like, a parent monitoring that chat and stuff, like, whatever, I get that.
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't seem like they want to be talking about things. It seems like they want to be getting to know each other and, like, asking each other questions and stuff, which seems reasonable to me.
I'm 99% sure most of what Lydia talks about is like, what's your favorite Bible verse?
Exactly. Like, come on,
what
it's
do you
Lydia.
feel about Ecclesiastes 10:12? Like,
yeah, it's not Mariah here. It's Lydia. Okay?
I know. And I still think Mariah would ask questions like, what do you dream about?
Yeah, exactly. They'd still be really innocent.
Ideal beach vacation. Like, it's not going to be like, I want to get drunk and fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not going to be like, send me a dick pic. It's going to be like, send me a Christ pic.
Send me a pic of you praying.
What's your prayer closet look like?
Yes, this is 100% what Lydia Plath's text message history looks like.
Yep.
But so she talks about how she really wants this guy to visit, and she plans on talking to her parents about it.
Yep.
So then the last part of this episode, Mariah is going over to Kim and Barry's, and Kim hopes she's not mad at her for coming to the show.
I hope you're not mad.
I know. Mariah shows them her ring and talks about all that, and they're all very happy about that. And then we finally move on to the concert. And I loved how, I don't know, I think this was Kim that said this. It might have been Lydia, though. I think it was kind of both of them. Their excuse was that, well, if Ethan wouldn't have looked for us, he wouldn't have found us. You wouldn't even know we were there. And it's like, that is so beyond the point.
Yeah, and the only reason that Ethan looked for you is because he saw your car.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he was like on like a hunt. He was like, I don't think they're here, and he turns around and sees their car, and it's like, oh, they are here. Like, let me go find them.
He's like, oh fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
It was so
Kim. This whole time, Kim was just playing the pretend card of, I'm a good mom and I care about your music. When really, you know, we know she didn't.
Yeah, clearly. And I feel really bad for Mariah in this part, and this being in this situation in general, but it was a little frustrating when she was like, I'm happy you did come at the end, because like that's really not making your boundaries clear. And I understand what you're saying, but like if that was the truth, if you were really wanted her to come that much, then you should have said no to Olivia in the beginning. It's, you know, you can't do that to Olivia. It's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I think Mariah is just a kid, and Kim is very, very aware of exactly what her children want to hear.
Yes. Yes, for sure. She knows exactly what buttons to press.
Yeah, so she said just exactly the right words to Mariah to finally get her to say, you know, it was fine that you were there.
Yeah, I just
you can't say it's not fine when it's like, I just wanted to support you. I've always wanted to pass music along to you. I mean, you don't have to come find us. Da, 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 da. And it's like, shut the fuck up, Kim. Just, ugh.
It sucks that that Mariah is put in that position, because like what she really would have said was like, I know, but I set these boundaries for you, and it's important for our relationship and for the relationship of the rest of the family if we stick to these boundaries. And I know that that's like a really hard thing to say to your mom and whatever, but
I just think that's a hard thing to say to anybody, and especially at 19.
Yeah, for sure. But I just feel like this situation where Mariah was like, you can't come, and then she did come, and then Mariah was like, okay, I'm glad you came. Like, I just don't think that's gonna really help the boundary situation very much.
Thank God they're all in Tampa.
That's true. That is true.
They got the fuck out. Maybe that's what Mariah was having some graduation goggles, because they had already started discussing moving.
Yeah, that is true. We didn't, because they hadn't talked about that at this point yet. But
but Mariah had already had the plans.
Right,
in her little noggin. That she was leaving. Little noggin.
All right, so the next episode is called "I Want to Be a Pirate." Is that right?
I do want to be a pirate. Yep.
Okay. I don't remember like writing that down. Like, I just think my brain did that on autopilot. And so anyway, so Olivia has a photo job in Maine, and so they are taking this opportunity to go on a camping trip. Ethan and Olivia are going along with Micah and Mariah.
I want to go camping in Arcadia. I mean, I don't want to go camping like they did. I want to go like hike and then sleep in a real bed.
Yeah,
but
it looked beautiful.
Maine.
Yeah,
I love Maine.
I've never been there, but it seems lovely.
It's very lovely and like gloomy, and like you understand why Stephen King is how he is.
That makes sense. Yes. Honestly, that's a vibe though. I'm all about gloom.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, Ethan talks about how what happened at the gig ended up pushing Olivia and him closer together, which I'm sure Kim is very happy about that.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure that just kills her every moment.
I know, which that makes me happy. But Olivia talks about how they're, still taking things really slow. And I'm sure that must be frustrating, but I think it's definitely for the best. They're definitely doing this in a very smart way.
Yeah, for sure.
On the opposite side of this, Kim, Barry, and the kids are in Wakula Springs, which is where they got married.
Ugh. I hate that like all their family vacations are like fuck scrapbooks. They're like, you were conceived here, Timmy.
Ew. Disgusting. Disgusting.
But Lydia is going to talk to Barry about her special friend coming to visit and find the right moment.
It's like, this reminds me of the last episode, one of the last episodes of the Bates we were watching, where they were all like, we need to have them large talks while they're doing their zip lining.
Yeah, gotta have a big talk. It's just like dudes waiting in line for other dudes to take their teenage daughters.
Ew, gross, but true. So they all take turns jumping into the lake and messing around and stuff. And this is where Lydia gets her moment. And it was such an awkward conversation, but I think anything with Barry is awkward, honestly.
This conversation made me want to die.
It was
she comes to him and she's like, and she's like really nervous, obviously, because she's asking to bring a potential suitor to her house, I guess. Right. And fucking Barry, he's like, I didn't know that you were thinking of this topic. And then he just fucking sits there and licks his creepy ass lips like a creepy ass motherfucker. Like, he's like, the whole time he's like
a lizard.
Yeah, like he had like the little pointy tongue. Just going. And I was like, please stop. Please stop.
Yeah. It was awkward.
It was like, this was another part where I was like, maybe Barry is just truly an idiot, because Lydia's like, I've got to figure out a way to get to know him. So why don't we bring him here so you can get to know him too? And he's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know if we don't know him very well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, okay, so
That was what he
that's
said.
to solve this problem.
That was his whole argument, was that we don't know him that much. And Lydia's like, yeah, that's the point. That's why I want him to come over, and you guys won't let me text him to get to know him. So you tell me I have to get to know him in person. How am I supposed to get to know him?
Let him be in person.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, dude? But then
I know.
he didn't even give a definitive answer. He was just like, we'll see. And then Lydia was like, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And it's like, he didn't say anything, but okay.
I know. And she's like, I just feel like that it really shows my dad's trust in me, but, and I'm like, oh, he gave you literally like a quarter of an inch, like a half of a hope.
Yeah.
And that's trust?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Not at all.
Trust is like, oh yeah, you can be home by 10:30.
Yeah.
Like, that's trust, bud.
It's really sad. And it's like sad that Lydia thinks that she was like given something in this conversation, when it was just like, your dad just listened to you and said, oh, maybe. Like that.
Yeah, he said, I'll think about it. I'll talk to your mom about it. Like,
it's like the fact that in her mind is like a good result is like really sad.
Yeah. It's so sad. I really hope she doesn't get too fucked up by the world when she's 18 and she finally leaves. I know. I'm scared for her, for sure. Maybe she'll just join a convent and have like a really nice relationship with all of her sisters.
I mean, that sounds nice for her.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I could see it.
So then we get a little scene of Mariah getting ready to go on the camping trip. Max isn't coming. It's just siblings plus Olivia. And Mariah just wants to have a good time and doing whatever she can to support the Olivia-Ethan situation. So that's good. Yeah, and Mariah overpacked, obviously. Packed everything she owned. I was going to say, this is like a direct opposite of the Bates, who don't pack anything and just like leave. At least she's like prepared. Like overly prepared. Hey man, she's ready for like 15 outfit changes. Hell yeah. But I mean, you never know when you're schlepping it. It's like when you bring like 10 pairs of underwear and it's like, oh yeah, just in case I piss my pants 6 times, you never know. I know. My brain always says, well, what if I fall down in the mud? And then if I fall down in the mud, what if I like hurt my back and then I accidentally poop myself? There's so many layers. Just keep packing underwear. You never know how many you're going to need. Just rather have too many than not enough. You never know. Exactly. Underwear and socks. I've like packed socks for like beach vacations because I'm like, just in case. Yeah, you never know. So, and then we go back to the Plath house, and Kim claims that she was making coffee and she just happened to hear Lydia's phone going off. And so she snooped and saw that Lydia has been texting her man. Barry says, that's a huge breach of trust. And I'm like, what trust? That one tiny little fucking iota of hope you gave her? I know. And this is where Kim keeps talking about how, like, I told her that, and either way was fine. If she talked to him, it was fine, or if she didn't talk to him, it was fine. But she has to tell us. Yeah, and it's like, I don't think that's what you said at all. Like, you've clearly made it known that you think that you cannot get to know somebody through text, and you can only get to know them in person. And so, like, you're not giving her a choice by being like, this is the wrong choice, but you can choose it anyway. Like, that's not a choice. Well, and here's the other thing. Lydia thought she won at the lake. Yeah. Which means she probably thought, he's coming to visit. That means I can text him a little bit. Like, get all this stuff together. Figure out how to get him here. Whatever. Chit-chat. And so, like, they move the fucking goalpost to, no texting until he comes to visit. And it's like, well, but you didn't really make that clear. Yeah. Well, and then this is where she says at some point in this conversation that, like, she's annoyed because, like, she finally felt like she was getting somewhere when her dad told her that he could come and visit. But it's like, unless there was a conversation that was not filmed on this episode, that is not what happened. Did not say that. Yes. God. Yeah, so they summon her to his office while she's writing her little letters. Mm-hmm. It's so, like, Regency era novel, but, like, someone's forcing you to play a Jane Austen book instead of choosing to. Exactly. Fucking Kim says, I was just caught off guard that this runaway text train has occurred. What is with her? She always says, like, runaway train all the time about everything. I don't know. It's the whole thing that Lydia's feelings are a train. Yeah. I don't know. It's dumb. She needs some new imagery.
She does. She really does. So they did 168 text messages over a couple days, which is not that many text messages.
It's really not.
Like, a couple of those are going to be like, okay, or yeah. Like,
yeah, or like, good night. Hello, good morning.
It's not 168 4-page letters back and forth to each other over a week. It's 168 texts.
I definitely have sent 168 texts to like one person in a day before. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like having a conversation about something like, hey, what do you think about this political issue? And you want to get to know someone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I have been in a long distance relationship in the past. And like in those relationships, we texted all the time and like a lot of text messages. So like it would make sense that they would text a lot, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I probably still text Chris like 100 times a day. And we live in the same house.
Yeah, I text Kyler while he's like in his meetings. I'll just text him stuff from 2 rooms away.
Yeah, when we're both working, we just text each other from different floors of the
house. I love it.
house.
So after, making Lydia feel like shit, they decided they were going to press pause on the phone for a while. And Lydia agrees because what else is she going to do? And then this is where Kim says it's refreshing to have a kid who, quote, welcomes correction. I hated when she said this. Welcomes correction.
I know. I heard that and I was like, yeah, you're just saying that your kid likes to be spanked. Like, that's what you hear. Like, that's what I hear. Like, not in like a sexy way. I just mean like, you're just saying, oh yeah, my kid likes it when I punish them.
Yeah. They like to obey me. You. And it's like, that's not... that's
your child is not a dog. Like, your child doesn't need like a pack leader or like, I mean, your dog doesn't need a pack leader either because dogs are not in packs, but whatever. People definitely don't need a fucking pack leader. She can make her own decisions and think for herself.
Well, and that's the other thing.
Corrected.
That's the other thing is that this child in question is literally 17 years old. She's not like a 5-year-old who like got into something they weren't supposed to. Like, this is like an adult, almost an adult with like rational brain that you can like, she
can make some choices. It's not like teaching your 5-year-old, like when you pop them on the hand sometimes, like if they were to be trying to reach for an open oven or something, right? Yeah. Where you're like, oh God, I gotta swat this baby away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it. Fuck Barry, fuck Kim. We're back in Maine.
Fuck Barry, fuck Kim. We're back in Maine. They're going to Acadia National Park. And Ethan's kind of in a pissy mood because it's like raining, which I get. I would be in a pissy mood too.
It's cold and rainy, and I think they're going in like May, so it's already hot in Georgia where they live. So he's going to like
Maine, where
it's
the rain,
cold rain. Yeah,
which
so
I get it. I would be in a shitty mood too. So it's fine. They stop at a little general store and Ethan gets a tarp, which he's very like fixated on, which again I get. And the others are like messing around with the lobsters for sale.
I know Mariah falls in love with the lobster and names it Joey. She holds it like a baby. It gets weird. Then Mariah tries to buy a beanie and calls it a poncho, which was pretty good. And I'm like,
cute.
Maine did just legalize recreational weed.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I need this poncho beanie.
that laugh was scary. Oh, so this next part for this next scene, my note is just Lydia is praying, crying, and walking barefoot again.
I wrote Lydia is going on one of her barefoot Jesus walks to repent for her sins.
Yep.
And she just starts straight up singing at the trees about her heart to Jesus. I don't know. I felt horrible watching this.
I was gonna say this definitely felt like something I should not be watching. That should not be seen. Definitely a private moment.
Yeah, no hot mic for this one, babies. Let's just leave her alone in the forest.
Let her have her feelings. Yeah, she talks about how she doesn't like how this relationship was making her act. And it's just so frustrating because, like, she wasn't like doing anything. Yeah, she wasn't doing anything unreasonable. Like, I understand, like, disobeying your mom is wrong, whatever. But, like, wanting to talk to somebody and just get to know them, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like, that restriction was crazy.
Yes.
That's not like a reasonable thing that's to be expected of a person
Right.
at the age of 16, 17, 18. I mean, shit. People were getting fucking married at 12 back in the day. Like, just let your 17-year-old text.
Well, and that's the other thing is it's not like they were giving her any other alternatives. Like,
yeah, they never had parties. Like we hear later at episode 12 that they've never had parties. They don't have people over. They don't have family friends. Like, they just isolated these kids and were like, yeah, you're just going to have an entire life of being a kid on my farm.
Right. It's like, no fucking thank you.
No fucking thank you.
But yeah, I hated this part. It made me feel so bad. I hated it.
Yeah, it was almost like Lawson using sick kids as a marketing tool. Level cringe.
For sure. Agreed. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go back to Maine. Let's go back to Maine. They finally arrive at their campsite, and Ethan is determined to get everything set up, including his precious tarp, before doing anything else.
Which he's making a roof out of the tarp for me. That was the questionable part for me. I thought he was going to put it on the ground.
Yeah, so that same.
You could stake in the... Yeah, no, he was going to make a tent roof, I guess.
Yeah, which... Whatever. Ethan was feeling frustrated just in the situation, and Olivia kept kind of like poking the bear a little bit about his tarp and like wanting to get everything together. And so the trip's already like starting off a little bit of a damper, but it's okay.
Sometimes you just gotta let people... Chris, I think, is very much like Ethan. When he gets something in his mind, he must complete it, and then he's fine.
Kyler's like that too, for sure.
If you fuck them up in the middle of doing something, it's gonna throw off their whole day. They have no idea what's happening. They're just...
I do get that. I get that to an extent, for sure.
Yeah. So, and it's another part of Ethan that I'm like, maybe he's a little neurodivergent somewhere, because he's getting fixated on some stuff, and it really upsets his mood and his vibe when he can't finish the stuff, which I get.
For sure. Also, it was funny when there was a part of this where I was like, I wonder what Ethan's sign is. I'm getting Taurus vibes from him, and then I looked him up and saw his birthday's May 14th, and I'm like, hell yeah, your girl was right, because he does remind me of Kyler a lot, and Kyler's a Taurus too, so.
That's funny. Yeah, Chris is an Aries, so he's much less chill.
Yeah, I get that.
But same kind of vibe.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I get along with Aries well, so that makes sense.
Yeah. They're very chaotic. Fuck. Yeah, so they basically just left Ethan to go hiking, which is the way to do this. Yeah. When someone is frustrated about a campsite thing, it's not going to help for you to observe them. Just be like, we'll be back. If you need us, we're down this trail.
Give them their space, let them do their thing. And he did. He got his little tent made. He got his little roof made. And then he ran really quick and caught back up with them, which I thought was so cute.
It was so cute. Like, because Ethan's really just a good dude at heart. He just has no tools to help his brain work the way it needs to work. Like, when he wants it to work. Yeah. For a lot of things.
No, I love Ethan. He is... I feel bad for him just because, all of the circumstances and all of the emotions that he has not been able to express before now. But I really like him. I think he's like genuinely a good person. So
yeah. I mean, I don't think anything he's done on the show has been like bad. Yeah, it's just been like either in a response to somebody pushing his buttons or being upset.
Right. Yeah, and it's not like it's not like in the situation with Olivia, it's not even like he like did anything wrong. He didn't like cheat on her or anything. It's just like that shit happens when there is so many unresolved emotions from childhood. Like it's gonna create friction, and at least they're really working on it, which is a lot more than you could say for a lot of people their age. Because remember, they are just in their early 20s.
They're 22 and 23. Like they're not like their brains aren't even fully formed yet.
They're babies.
Your temporal lobe isn't baked until you're 25.
Yeah, I know.
They're doing okay.
I really think, like, not that, like, I mean, obviously it's true. It's, like, scientifically proven. But, like, I really think that's true because I feel like after 25, like, everything before 25 is just so chaotic. And then 25 happens and you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm an adult now.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So much. Yeah. So any of our younger listeners out there, I promise, your 20s do get less chaotic.
For sure.
I had a full quarter life crisis at 23, and like I don't remember like a week of July.
Nice.
It was not great. I made a lot of bad decisions, but none that were criminal or life ruining.
There you go. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, I didn't buy a Porsche, but close.
Hey, if that's the worst thing you did, it could have been worse. So,
exactly.
Okay, so yeah, they get on their hike, and then they get to this little area and they kind of reminisce on how far they've come and how much of the world is open to them now and how exciting it is to them, which is really beautiful to hear.
God, it really fucking makes me sad.
I know.
That's the thing. It's like I'm so glad that they're getting to do it, but there's so many other kids that aren't.
I know.
There's so many, they didn't get a good childhood necessarily.
Right.
I know lots of it was fine for them, but fuck, they could have had a better one.
Definitely.
I get so mad when people don't get all the good things they deserve.
I know. It's really, really annoying.
So annoying. Why is the world not perfectly fair?
Mm-hmm.
Micah says that 5 years ago, he never would have seen himself here and being able to travel and see things. And he said he felt very confined.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, basically, Mariah was like, why are we all still in Cairo? And Ethan was like, oh, complacency and the rat race. And Olivia's like, for love. And Ethan was like,
yeah, it was like a sweet little moment where Ethan was like, it made him realize that Olivia put herself through living in Cairo, which is really miserable for her, because she loves him. And that made him feel very loved and special, which Mariah illustrated earlier, I don't think that they were made to feel very loved or special as children. No. And so it's probably a pretty new feeling for them.
I honestly don't think that Ethan ever considered why Olivia was still there after they separated. I don't think he thought it was an option, which is fine. I don't think they were going to get full divorced immediately and she was just going to leave or whatever. Right. But he was like, fuck, she really did just stay here because she has a wedding photography business. She could be based literally anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it was literally just because she loves you and she wanted to make it work with you. And that's made him feel very good.
Giving me the goosies.
So that's really what they end up talking about most, is just wanting to leave Cairo and get away, and that kind of leads into the next episode,
the 1.5 hour season finale. I want to talk to your parents.
Dun dun dun.
They started this episode with all of the recaps of all of the shitty things that had gone down between Olivia and the Plaths on camera.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so stressful.
It was. And then we get a little sneak peek at some dramatic footage of Olivia walking up to the Plath door.
God, and then so much of this episode is just full bullshit. All of Micah's sections, other than later, is just Micah got his car stuck in the mud. Yeah. And you're like, come on.
We want the good stuff. So then, we get a several weeks earlier little screen. And this is, it's Ethan's birthday party. And Ethan is kind of known as the prankster. He's always given pranks to everyone. And so it's time for them to get back at him. And so they decide to employ Max to dress up in drag and be their waitress at this restaurant they're going to.
I was surprised with how chill Max was about this. How Max is a chill dude. He wasn't oh haha, I'm insecure in my masculinity. He's ooh, Ethan, hello.
He really leaned
just
into
having fun with it.
It was really funny.
It was very cute.
Mariah was doing Max's makeup and they put water balloon boobs in a bra. It was
they got him his own bra so
that he
wouldn't fuck up anyone else's, and of course he's probably pretty broad chested.
Yeah, probably wouldn't fit in little Mariah's.
I know. She's a 26B.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she's this big around.
Oh, and then we get a little scene of Ethan and Olivia taking a love language test. So their therapist, I guess, told them that they should take one of these tests to kind of really learn how the other person wants to be loved, which I think is always a good idea because...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know that the whole love language thing is kind of debunked, but it's a good starting point for what people want.
Yeah, I don't think it's kind of end all be all thing, but it does give you a good starting point. Oh, this person... Yeah. My biggest one is words of affirmation. And so that's a big thing for me. And so, Kyler knows that, and so he's always talking to me and telling me shit. But like I'm less so, like, I'm not a big like gift person. Like, it's fine, but that's like less important to me. And I think that it's a good kind of way to start off, especially when you're like not really sure about the other person.
And since they're young and have no experience dating.
Exactly.
This is the first person they've ever really dated, and they're married.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they've never really thought about them for themselves either. Like, what would I want? Because I think they had a conversation where Ethan was always talking about how like he doesn't know how to love Olivia, and Olivia's like, shouldn't you just like know how to love me? And it's you gotta teach him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're all idiosyncratic and we all value different things. So I think it's a good discussion to have.
Yeah. Ethan, I think Ethan's biggest one was physical touch, and Olivia's was words of affirmation.
Yeah. And it was so sweet because Olivia just like read his stuff and was like, I've not done a very good job of loving you. I know. And it's like, oh, you guys need to just work through it, and get through this and be together and be happy.
Yeah. Because it's like, now that she knows, I'm sure she will make an effort to be better about that, which is great. But
hey, man, physical touch is an easy one.
Yeah, that one is easy one. Easy one to do. So then back at Ethan's birthday dinner, Ethan and Olivia arrive at the restaurant, and Micah and Mariah are there too. And they told Ethan that Max couldn't come to dinner, and so Max dresses up as Susan, the waitress.
And basically just gets in Ethan's personal space and makes him very uncomfortable, which I'm here for that sometimes. Yeah, it depends, but I think in this situation it wasn't that bad because they knew that once he figured out who it was, he would feel fine.
Well, that's what he said. That's what I think Micah was saying, like, for a stranger to be like touching him like that, like that's not okay. But if it's Max, like, they kind of like horse around and stuff all the time. So yeah, it was very funny. And Ethan was like trying to tell the table like how uncomfortable he felt. He's like, I don't know, it was just weird, like, why is she touching me so much? And his talking head, he's like, the waitress was all up in my face, I felt like she was flirting with me, it feels disrespectfful in front of my wife. And then it's just like Max finally is like, he's never gonna figure this out without a little hint. So then he's just like, oh, it's gonna get maxed out. And Ethan just tackles him and is like, ha! Ethan stands up and pulls the wig off his head. It was so funny.
Like, if Ethan had actually looked at Susan for any amount of seconds, he would have been like, that's quite clearly someone in a wig, a bad wig, and bad makeup that I know.
He was so uncomfortable that he couldn't make any eye contact at all. He couldn't even look. Oh, poor. But
poor it was
Ethan.
Sweet.
It was funny. And this is where they start really talking about their plans. And they all kind of realize that they want to move to Tampa. And so they kind of hatch this plan for Ethan and Olivia and Mariah to all move down to Tampa together. And then for Max to join them later on.
Yeah. Because I think Max is still finishing school or something. I can't remember.
I think so. Something like that.
They get kind of into how much they have all changed in the past few years, because like Mariah and Ethan apparently as kids butted heads a lot and had very hard arguments with each other, and now they've become much tighter, and I wonder if most of that was just because of their parents being shitheads.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure that their lives there was a lots of tension in that house, and
God, and
I'm
being
sure that
the oldest boy has so many things that you're expected to be and do, and then being the black sheep girl.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think that they've just really bonded over, kind of having to learn how to be a adult on their own completely. Like, and I think that happens a lot in sibling situations, sibling relationships, is that they're like little rocky in the teenage years, but then like once they're adults out of the house and like their own people is when they really start forming those bonds. So
yeah, without the complications of all of your other familial relationships and interactions, it makes it much easier to be friends with your siblings.
Definitely. So, the next part, Lydia is going over to Ethan's house to help him do some projects to prepare the house to be sold.
This is just, it's so uncomfortable to watch them in the same room together.
It is.
It kills me.
There's like so much they want to say to each other, but they can't.
Yeah, Ethan can't figure out what he wants to say or how to say it.
Yeah.
Lydia, I don't know. She has Ethan at some standard that I don't think is a real
Healthy.
human standard.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, Lydia kind of updates Ethan on the situation with the boy and kind of she kind of talks about how trying to figure out if this relationship is God's will or whatever, and this is where Ethan kind of pushes back and is like, what do you like, how do you know it's God's will? And then in a talking heads he says, I just don't want Lydia to confuse God's will with my mom's will, which like, yep, definitely.
Yep. Like, shoo boy. Because so much of, like, her biblical teachings are just her parents' opinions.
Yeah, and they talk about, I don't know if it was this part or a later part. Oh, yeah. They talk about how, like, the lines are really blurred when they're told that, like, disobeying your parents is against God's will. Disobeying your parents is not, like, it's evil. So then, like, how are you supposed to differentiate between, like, are your parents telling you things that are good or bad? You know, and it's like, you have to go along with what your parents are saying, so they could be telling you anything. It's really fucked up.
Yeah, you get punished if you disbelieve them and cross them. So everything they say is truth and gospel.
Yeah, it's really, so it's like, there's nothing that makes me more uncomfortable than people using religion, like, to manipulate and abuse their children.
Yep.
It's
and
really,
that's
really great.
A lot of religion.
A lot of it for sure. Yep.
Those be some spicy words.
So at the end of this, Lydia talks about how she's done with school and they're having a big graduation party for her at the farm. And so she formally invites Ethan. And Ethan doesn't, like, immediately dismiss it, but doesn't give her a yes either. So she's happy that it was an immediate no.
Yeah, his whole thing is that he wants to be there for Lydia, but he doesn't want to be with the parents and doesn't want to make an issue or fuck up her party.
Right.
Which,
all valid.
That's a good big brother there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I think they're eventually gonna get. I think Ethan and Lydia are gonna get to a good relationship point.
I think
soon.
so too. I think it's just so hard because Lydia's still living at home and still, like, has to follow their rules, basically.
I honestly think that this boy thing might be her tipping point.
I hope so. It's
ridiculous. She was doing, like, all the things right. She was, not talking to him. She asked her dad first if he could come visit. She was, like, not texting a lot. Again, 168 text messages. That's not like 5,000. That's 168. That's a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I think that she may, once she hits 18, be like, yep, my parents are controlling. Fuck.
Yeah. God, I hope so. That's my dream, honestly.
I know. I have dreams for her. I think she'll get there, especially with how she reacted to being called out in Barry's office in the last episode, where she was just like, I don't think I did anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that she was texting this boy is a good sign. Like, because she knew that, like, what my parents, like, this is a ridiculous thing that my parents have set for me. And so I think that for me, that was good to see that she was kind of rebelling a little bit against these stupid ass things.
Dumb rules.
Yeah. So then this next part, I think Ethan, Olivia, Mariah, and Max are kind of meeting up and talking more about their move to Tampa.
Yep, doing the big talk before you move in together, like ground rules and how are we gonna do this, and what's the timeline look like, and where are we gonna live, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and Mariah kind of, like, just point blank asks, like, making sure, are you guys ready to move in together again? Because you guys don't live together right now. Is this, like, the right time? Which, you should be asking that. That's a question that should be asked.
Yeah.
And they both genuinely, at least to me, seemed like they were, they seem to think that they're ready, at least. And then Mariah talks a little bit, and this, like, again, to me, just shows how kind of mature Mariah is. She just said that her one worry is that Mariah and Max, or even just Mariah, could negatively affect the progress that Ethan and Olivia have made, which I think is a completely valid point that should be brought up at the beginning.
And again, Mariah being Oh, wise for her ears.
I know.
For her ears?
For her ears and her years.
Yes. I was trying to say being old for her years and being wise for her years and got wise for her ears.
Okay, well, I love it.
Yeah, she's wise for her ears and in asking that because, like, you know, half the time you don't even think about that. Even as an adult, you're like, oh yeah, I'll go and stay with my friends. And you get there and you're like, fuck, they're having some stuff. I shouldn't have come.
Yeah, definitely. And that's not an environment that you want to live in either. Like,
no, God, no.
No, not at all. But I don't know. I love Ethan and Max's relationship too. They seem like so friends cute. And they're really cute. I love them.
The jokes just run like a bad case of diarrhea. As Ethan says about them. And I was like, please, no.
Just stop. That's fine. So then at the end of this part, Micah joins in on their little breakfast thing. And he says he's looking forward to having some time living by himself. And he doesn't seem to be as confident about the Tampa plan, but I don't really know.
This whole Micah storyline, which I kind of am going to spoil it, but like the fact that he's like, you know, I don't know what I want to do. And then he just like fucking fixes his boat. I imagine he probably fucking sells it for the plane fare to LA.
Yeah.
And just
I don't know. He's I don't know.
He's got some cojones, but I guess he always has a fallback because Cairo ain't going anywhere.
That's true. Very true.
As long as you have plane fare and like $300 for rent, you can make it in Cairo.
That's all you need. And maybe some alcohol or something to get you through it.
Yes. Always.
So Kim and Barry are throwing Lydia a big graduation party at the farm. And they kind of talk about how apparently no other kid got a graduation party. This is the only graduation party that they've had. So I'm pretty sure it's just because they have a television show now. I don't know.
I think it's because they want Lydia. I think they're trying to sweeten up Lydia before she turns 18.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's definitely weird.
Because I definitely think there could be like a 1-by-1 exodus where each child turns 18, leaves their house, and goes to live with Olivia and Ethan to then be released into the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so.
Training center of how to be an adult.
Yeah, the Tampa anti-fundy training center.
The Tampa anti-fundy recovery center.
Yes.
TARFC.
Love it. That's what TARFC. Ethan and Olivia are opening.
Yes.
We meet some of her friends. We meet Philip, who at first I thought this was the guy she was talking to, but it's not. It's just some random guy.
But it's the one that I think that fucking Kim and Barry want her to marry.
Yeah, definitely. And he weirds me out. Like, he creeped me out. But most, like, big God Jesus guys freak me out, so.
Yeah, pretty much any dude over the age of, like, 16 who wants to be a youth pastor is upsetting.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't trust anyone who's a youth pastor. Let's be honest there.
No. Micah, Mariah, and Max show up, and this part annoyed me too when Lydia rubbed it in Mariah's face that she finished before her, which like that is such a shitty thing.
I was like, shut the fuck up, Lydia. Like, yeah, you finished your shitty homeschool. She has to actually learn something to get a GED. Like she's having to learn like math all over again.
Yeah, she's working on her GED right now, and I think she's somewhere in the middle of it. But, like, yeah, also, like, fuck off. I don't know. It's just, like, not a cool thing to say to somebody.
No, but, you know, siblings.
Yeah, I know. Siblings are mean as fuck.
And I'm sure that Lydia and Mariah have a long and storied history of competing with each other for their mother's love.
Definitely. But yeah, this is where Mariah like shows up and she says she has no clue who any of these people are. She's never met any of them before. And like Kim definitely made it seem like, oh, these are all our old family friends. We've known them from so many different walks of our life. And Mariah's like, I've never met any of these people in my life.
Nope. Which, again, it's the Plath parents just doing the bare minimum to try and pretend to be good parents.
Yep, 100%. Micah gets his car stuck in the mud. He finally has his license back.
And he pulled off the road to let someone pass, and he's stuck in the mud and has to get tractored out.
Yes, but thank God he does.
He does. And he's very glad to be independent again. And he says, I watch my speed more, and I know, and then he just like whispers into the camera, I know how to watch for cops.
Yeah, that is really the biggest yeah thing.
Because it's true. Who knows what they'll pull you over for? They'll pull you over for something.
I guess the good thing about the Plaths, though, is that they are allowed to dance.
They are, and that's nice. I mean, they have to do, like, contra dancing, like, where they have the collar and swing your partner round and round, but
it's better than nothing,
better than no dancing.
Yeah. And then Mariah gets a text from Ethan that he is there and, like, waiting at the end of the driveway. And so it's all very dramatic, of course, but she gets Lydia and takes her to where they are, and it's Olivia and Ethan, like, kind of just waiting. They wanted to say congratulations and see her, but they didn't want to, like, be a part of the party, which I think this is, like, the best thing they could have done. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, you show up for your sister, but you don't want to fuck up that party. Because Kim would find a way to fuck it up immediately. Definitely. Be like, I can't believe you didn't want me at my only good daughter's only good concert.
Yeah.
Now I've got this trash heap Lydia who's fucking boys via text message.
Fucking Lydia. Yeah, no, I thought it was good, and Lydia seemed happy with it too, so it was all good.
Yeah, I think if Ethan had gone down there and started a scene, Lydia would just have sobbed at her own party again. Yeah. That's how it always ends with the parents of the Plaths.
Pretty much.
But so she rolls back down for the end of dancing, and no one asks her to dance at her own party, which
great.
Yep, we can definitely tell these are great family friends and longtime friends that she's had forever. So then they waltz. She waltzes with Philip, who finally asks her, and you can tell that Kim's fully trying to matchmake them.
Yeah. She's like, is there interest between them? And it's like, I hope not, because
no, I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but we'll see.
So we finished the party. Now we have another teaser of shit we really don't care about, but we do kind of care about because we love Mariah. But Mariah gets her hair cut. She gets her trashy extensions out.
She does, and she gets it dyed bright, vibrant purple, which I loved. So good. I loved. Yeah. It was perfect.
Hell yeah. She's like, I'm going to move to Tampa, and I'm going to dye my hair purple.
Yeah, and just the balls that Mariah has is amazing, because the first thing she does is pulls right up to the Plath family farm, and she's going to go show off her hair.
She's like, you like this? You like this?
And, of course, Barry and Kim pretend that they love it, but I'm sure they fucking hate it.
I know. God.
Barry just says, whoa, dude. Shut up.
That's another fucking time where I kind of liked Barry, because that's exactly what my dad says whenever I've dyed my hair. He's just been like, whoa.
Oh no, is your dad Barry Plath?
He's not. He's very much not. My dad is very hands off.
Thank God.
But they do have like tiny similarities insofar as my dad is also tall and kind of has similar hair. But that's about it.
That's not that bad.
No, that's kind of the typical dad hair.
Yeah, I cannot think of a single similarity between my dad and Barry Plath other than they're both men. Fathers. Yep. That's it.
Yep, they've sired children.
Yes, exactly.
They're white people?
Yeah, there we go. Yes, they are white, that is for sure. So Mariah is also there to kind of finally tell her the plans that they're all moving to Tampa.
In 2 days.
Which is amazing.
I love how they're like, last minute. We're not going to fucking tell them until we're out the door. Yeah.
That is honestly so much respect for that. Fuck yes.
And so smart, because fuck, Kim would have been there every single day. Probably would have fucking fucked up your like house sale. I don't know.
Yeah. No thanks. But they touch a little bit on the subject of like whether or not they're going to be able to visit, what the circumstances are going to be like, because Ethan and Olivia are going to be there, obviously. And Mariah says, they're welcome to come and visit Tampa, and she'll spend time with them. They just like can't stay with them, which is very reasonable.
And like, why the fuck would you want to stay with 20-year-olds? Like, no. Fuck, go get a hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. No thanks. Especially if you're going to bring like some of the kids too. Like, you're going to want hotel rooms anyway.
Yeah. Get an Airbnb, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Then Mariah kind of thanks them for accepting her, and I do think it's like frustrating, because it's like, why? I don't know. I just don't know what to believe and what to not believe in terms of like how supportive they actually are. And if they are actually this supportive of Mariah, then like why can't they be that way toward Olivia? I just don't understand.
You got that one right.
That's all.
But I don't think they're supportive. I think Mariah and Lydia are trying to see the best of their bad situations. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're ready to go into the dark place that Ethan went to.
Yeah, and I get that.
My family didn't necessarily care about me as an individual. My family hurt my prospects for my future. My family has told my wife that she's full of demons. Like, my family has actively made my life worse for the past 20 years. Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to deal with that. And then you freak out and drive across the country.
Yeah, definitely.
I get that.
I'm just glad that I'm just glad that Mariah is getting away is all there is to it. And that she's, at least Mariah is very like, she can make her own decisions and she's confident in her own decisions. And that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really matter if she goes no contact or just stays with whatever with Kim. But as long as she keeps herself.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
she's done through living there. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
She lived there and wore makeup and saucy outfits, etc. Was just like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a brave person. I'll say that.
Yes.
Much braver than I am.
I know. God. Oh, I think this part was the part where I actually kind of agreed with Barry, which I hated. So Barry says that the hair is more shocking than the move to Tampa because he knows that Mariah is a lot like him, or like maybe he had shitty parents. Who knows? Maybe that's why Barry's such a shithead, is because he had shitty parents. But regardless, Barry's like, she didn't ask for my opinion about Tampa, and I'm like, thank you. No one asked for your opinion about Tampa or the hair.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, cool.
Well, and then he talks about how like he understands it because he moved his whole life away.
Yeah, moved from Minnesota to Florida, I think. Yeah. I don't remember.
And so, I mean, that's good, but
yeah,
not much you can do about it anyway. So,
nope. But yeah, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
all of them.
Yes, that is the bottom line. Shut the fuck up.
That's what Barry has learned that has made me like him 1% more. Is that he does sometimes need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and he does it sometimes. Yeah, and he sometimes does just stay home when he's told to stay home.
Yeah, he didn't used to be like that. That's why I think Barry, maybe he was just the worst and dense.
Yeah.
Maybe there's room for improvement. I don't think so.
Hopefully, I hope so. So, the next part, we're over at Ethan and Olivia's, and they're going through kind of last minute things they want to do before they leave. And this is where Olivia comes out and says that she wants to have a talk with Kim and Barry to kind of get some closure, close things off, and so she can say goodbye to the kids too.
Yep. She's got to say what she needs to say, and she wants to bail. And Ethan's like, fuck that. I don't want to see them bitches. I want to leave forever, and I want to leave them in my rear view. And she's like, that's fine for you. I would really like it if you would go and stand at the car for me and wait while I do this. That's all I need. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah. And then Ethan seems to think, that's a reasonable request. So that's what they do. It's the day before the move. Do we want to talk about Micah's boat real quick or not?
Micah has a boat. He puts carpet in it. He spends a lot of money on his boat that he should be using for saving up to move.
Yeah.
Boat.
That's really all there is to it. Back to the more important stuff.
Yes.
It's the day before the move. Ethan and Olivia are heading to the Plath house. She just goes right up, knocks on the door. Lydia answers and asks to speak to Kim and Barry outside, and they come on out.
God, it was so much. Like, I know that Kim and Barry had to know because they had a camera crew in their house. They knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know what. And it was just like the look on Kim and Barry's face when they see that it's Olivia standing out there being like, hey, I want to talk to you guys. They're just like sure?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So Olivia says that she feels like that they intentionally meant to hurt and ostracize her. But that she has worked through those feelings and that she's no longer bitter and forgives them. Which, like, the way that she worded it, too, it was just, like, you could tell she put so much thought into what she was going to say.
Oh,
and it was very good. Very good.
And then, of course, Kim's like, well, we never intentionally meant to hurt you. We never wanted to do any of these things. No. It's like, you know what, Kim? This is the time. We learned this just a few minutes ago. This is the time for you to shut the fuck up and say, I'm very sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you for coming to talk to us.
I was glad that after Kim said we didn't mean to, that Olivia was like, I feel differently than that. Like, she wasn't like,
but
okay.
That's your opinion.
Yeah. I'm glad that she stood up and was like, I don't agree with that, but thank you.
And then, of course, Olivia with the perfect segue. She goes, okay, so now that we've had this, you said that once I made things right with you, I could see the kids.
Can I see the kids? And they let him. I was glad that they did. They seemed to like realize that like, yep, this is exactly what we said. There's nothing we can really argue here. And so I loved that Kim tried to hug Olivia and Olivia said no, and she tried to hug Ethan too, and Ethan said no.
I know, and she was so fucking like shit about it. Like when she went inside, she's like, I can't even be outside while they get hugs. I didn't even get a hug. And it's like, you don't deserve a hug. You earned a hug.
It's like you should feel lucky for that Olivia came over at all and said what she said, because that is way more mature than most people would be. And but I was so glad that Ethan and Olivia had a moment with all of the kids and got to hug them and say goodbye and tell them, you know, that they still like, I think that especially for like the little girls with Olivia, like it was important for her to let them know that like she hadn't forgotten them, that she still loves them, and that it's not them that caused anything between their relationship. So I was happy that they had that moment.
It was good. It was sweet. All the goodbyes were cute and sweet and sad, and I'm glad that they got to see them. And Kim and Barry, the only good fucking thing Barry said was, well, it was better than the last meetup in the driveway.
Yeah, that was funny.
Like, there's not way that it could have been much fucking worse unless somebody ended up shot.
You would hope not. God, even still, when I see like flashbacks to that, it like stresses me out so much. So much
like, you
tension.
could just show me a picture of where Ethan, right after Ethan says, you cannot go see my wife in the car, and he holds Barry's hand, like Barry's arm with his hand.
Yeah.
If you just showed me that picture, I would just be like,
yeah, it's like you could feel the tension like pouring out of it.
Oh,
it's so much.
bad.
Oh my gosh.
But this whole thing seemed to go well.
Yeah.
It was cute and good. And Ethan seemed to have a nice time that he was able to see his siblings before he moved to Tampa. And I think that was very smart of Olivia too. To have him come.
I'm glad.
Just in case.
She definitely knew what she was doing.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's very smart.
Yes. Ethan talks about how the last year has been the most painful in his whole life, but that he's grown in many different ways. And he said that he used to feel like Olivia was like the head that turned his neck, but he's realized, because that's what he grew up seeing, essentially, was his mom doing the same to his dad. But he's, since realized that he is his own person and is every much as part of the relationship as Olivia. So not only should he be like doing the work, but he also has say in things as well.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was good. Everybody ended up good.
Yeah.
So we're at the last day in Cairo.
Yes. And we go to Mariah and Micah's house, and Micah's gone.
Micah's fled. Micah's gone west.
He's just randomly moved to LA with like no warning.
A car full of shit and nothing else.
Yeah. Ethan ends up FaceTiming him, and they get him on camera, and he's just like, yeah, I'm staying with a friend in LA.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've got so many matches on dating apps, he says.
I'm sure he does.
Don't do them all. Just select the best hen. And then Micah said, or 20.
Oh, God.
He's going to go hoe it up out there. Yeah, go hoe it up. Just wear protection.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all I got for you.
As long as you're being honest about it, and just be a hoe.
Yeah, just be a hoe. Hoe is not the bad part. It's the
deceit.
Getting people pregnant or like STDs or cheating. Just hoe around.
Yeah, hoe and but hoe responsibly.
Hoe responsibly.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we should have had instead of the milk commercials.
Yeah,
hoe responsibly.
Hoe responsibly. Then Ethan and Olivia. There's a little scene of them kind of saying their final goodbyes to their house and thinking over the good things that happened, and it was very sweet.
It was so cute. And then Ethan walked out of the house behind Olivia and said, goodbye, little old house on 7th Street. And then he gets up to the car and he says, let's get the fuck out of Cairo.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then they're on their way.
They're on their way, guys.
I'm so happy for them. I'm happy that they are pretty far away from Cairo, And I'm glad that they have each other, that it's like not just Mariah moving down there or whatever. It's nice that they have that built-in support already there.
Yeah, especially because they don't know anything about the world still.
Exactly. They're so sheltered that it's nice to have somebody who's like in the exact situation as them to really go through it together. So I don't know. I just have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope for them.
I do too. They give me hope that maybe the Duggars and the Bates and everybody will eventually have children who break free.
I don't know. You'd think there's 19 of each of them. You'd think that. I mean, how many the Plaths have? Like 8 something?
9?
I don't know. 9?
But Sana, right? The old girl who's not in there. Ethan. Old girl. Ethan, Micah, Mariah.
Lydia.
Isaac.
And then there's 3 little girls. So yeah,
Mercy,
9.
Cassia. Yeah, 9.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah. That's not even that many. How'd you lose this many of them?
Yeah, it's less than half. Like, God, you're really not doing a good job.
Not very effective at your controlling parenting skills.
Imagine that.
I'm glad they're bad at it.
Yeah, honestly, same. But I think that about wraps us up for this week and for season 3 of Plathville. What a season it was.
What a season.
If you have anything you'd like to say about this episode or any of our other episodes, or if you have any suggestions for things you'd like us to talk about in the future, feel free to shoot us an email at tvliterate@gmail.com.
And you can find us everywhere on the internet at tvliterate. We're on Reddit, Tumblr, Insta, Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere. If you look for us, we're probably there. And send us any cool things you find or any like Duggar news, because there's a lot of Duggar news right now with the trial going on. We're hooked in, but you never know.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to help with any of our hosting costs, drop us $1. You can at www.ko-fi.com/tvliterate.
Yes, and it would also be great if you could leave us a review and tell us how we're doing. And we will see you guys next week with another episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.